Good morning, afternoon, good evening. My name is Beth Osmer, and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior YouTube channel. I come on here live. Let me turn this up a little bit so you can see me. There we go. I come on here live every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, and we talk about different topics related to spirituality, mindset, growth, personal power, and basically how to thrive and survive during this decade of the 20s here on planet Earth. Okay, so today what I'd love to talk about is ascension. The topic is, are ascension symptoms real? Let's talk about what ascension symptoms are. And I am going to talk about what ascension symptoms are from my personal understanding. So whenever you watch people on YouTube or Facebook or social media, when you're watching someone, me, anyone else, make sure that what you're feeling, seeing, sensing resonates with you. Because there's a lot of people sharing a lot of information. I'm going to walk for a minute because I'm going to grab my sage. A lot of people are sharing a lot of information. So you get to really be empowered around what you're hearing. So what I may be saying about ascension today and ascension symptoms may not resonate with you, or you may listen to someone else and they're like, oh, that lands or that doesn't land. So just be very empowered around it. Okay, so my understanding of ascension symptoms are that in this time, during this time that we're in, and why it's such a shit show on a lot of levels, the pandemic, all the food crises, all the wars, all of it is because the dark evil forces on this planet, their time is literally up, and they will not be able to exist here much longer. Personally, I have been feeling this for a while, and for a while, I believe humans have been trapped by these darker forces. And I'm not talking about shadow, I'm talking about evil. I'm talking about things like pedophilia, rape, addiction, the voices in your head that tell you you're a piece of shit, all of that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that level of darkness that has plagued humans since the beginning of time, since we were born. And why has it plagued humans for that long? Because if we are down and out and we are not connected to our own divinity and to God, we're easily controlled and manipulated. Okay, and we're not operating at our most operable way. So the time that we're in now feels and seems and has been studied and proven by a few people in quantum physics that I don't understand very much. I just know what I feel, and I know when I'm in prayer, and I know when I'm with my guides what I feel, that they're on their way out. The evil on this planet cannot exist anymore. Humans do not need to learn through that kind of darkness. We don't. We learn through contrast. We can learn through upsets. We can learn through our mistakes. But we don't need to learn that way anymore. And in fact, it's on an enslavement level. So back to the ascension piece. Right now, the timelines are coming together on the grid in a way where whatever is controlling this planet, whether some sort of whether it's the Anunnaki, whether it's other alien beings, whether it's darker forces, whatever it is, cannot exist here any longer. And what's happening is they are in a fight for their survival. So we're seeing a lot of control in a lot of countries and in a lot of ways on a mass level to take us off our game. It's like their playbook is they're bringing everything out of their playbook. But at the same time, ascension is happening. And at the same time, there is this opportunity for human beings to actually ascend. And what does ascend mean? It means moving out of this limited 3D experience that we're in and moving into more expanded states of consciousness, moving into using more of our brain, moving into activating more of our DNA, moving out of limiting ways of being and ascending into these higher vibrational states. Now, with the ascension symptoms, I gotta be honest, I used to think it was I used to think it was crap, like real bullshit, because anything for me that puts people that in a potential victim state, for me, can be a red flag. For example, let's just use ascension, for example. Well, I'm having ascension symptoms, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Therefore, I can't XYZ. I am super upset by the patriarchy. Therefore, I can't XYZ. You see what I'm saying? Like anything that creates victimhood in someone, we got to be very, very careful with. And I was starting to see that. I was starting to see like, oh, I can't participate in things, or I can't show up because I'm having ascension symptoms. That doesn't work. And so for me, I automatically, when this term started coming out, I was like, oh, this is bullshit. People get to be accountable. You get to show up. We are the creators of our day-to-day life. Yes, God is involved, and yes, the divine is involved, but we are in charge of our choices. We are in charge of that. And so, but then I started reading about it more, feeling into it more, and really feeling the energy that there is this opportunity to go into higher states of consciousness. And it's not easy. It's challenging. But it is available. And what we're going to see coming up is a split. We're already seeing the split. People that are going to choose to stay in a 3D limited vibration existence, not open their mind, not think outside the box, not look beyond what they see in front of them. There's going to be people that choose that. And then there's going to be people that are going to choose to ascend and move forward. Now, ascension symptoms are real, and we're going to talk about that. But here's the thing. You cannot ascend. You cannot get the symptoms. Not that I want you to get the symptoms, which we'll talk about in a minute, unless you're doing healing work, unless you are clearing yourself. We have so much programming. Think of us as like a computer. As soon as you are born, you start getting programmed. What's right? What's wrong? What's good? What's bad? What's the color yellow? What's the color green? What do boys do? What do girls do? We start being programmed immediately. And then whatever's going on in your family and whatever ancestral line you came in on, there's all that programming too, all of that programming in your DNA. So let's say that your family has been a family that has dealt with chronic anxiety. You're bringing that in with you. So you have that programming on top of the current programming that's happening. So each human being is like a little computer. All right, we're going to put this in here and we're going to program this. We're going to program that. I mean, you've heard of MK Ultra. It's programming. It's programming. And unfortunately, at this point in our evolution, we can be easily programmed and manipulated. And this is the part of the ascension process where we're saying no more. There's a lot of us that are saying no more. I refuse to be programmed. I refuse to be bullied away from my soul mission, my soul essence. I refuse to allow other people, other beings outside of my own consciousness tell me what's good for me. So many of us are starting to rebel against the system. We're starting to rebel against the programming. And as we start to rebel, we also have to clear. So we can feel up against, hey, you know what? This doesn't feel right. And for COVID, a lot of people, that experience woke a lot of people up. A lot of people felt like something isn't right here. Something doesn't feel right. And there's a lot of cognitive dissonance happening in the collective, but many people are starting to question it, starting to think outside the box. Open-mindedness is a high IQ. Many people can read a book and regurgitate information. That's not easy for me personally, but many people it is. But being open-minded, thinking outside the box, asking questions, really getting curious, following your intuition is a level of intelligence that goes beyond what we have been taught in school and in society. So as this ascension is happening, and those of you that are waking up and starting to see things a little differently, following your intuition, there has to be clearing at the same time. Clearing on a deep, deep level, like DNA clearing, soul retrieval clearing, power retrieval clearing, getting the soul parts back that are fragmented, clearing out any imprints of poverty consciousness, any imprints of anxiety, any imprints of addiction, any imprints of anything that is keeping you from your soul light. So the work has to happen at the same time. And when I was meditating this morning and asking the guides about the ascension symptoms, what I was told and what they shared with me was that the symptoms come from that bottleneck, meaning you're seeing your soul is like, oh, we're ascending, this isn't right, we have an opportunity to move to higher vibrations and higher states of consciousness. However, I still have lifetimes of programming, dis-ease, disease, imbalance imprinted in my karma and in my energy field. So hence comes the symptoms. So the symptoms, and this is where we got to be really careful, because this is what I ask my guides too, and I'll share with you in a minute. The symptoms tend to be like flu-like symptoms, like fatigue, headaches, irritability, body symptoms like that. I heard someone say the other day, she's like, I'm having an ascension flu. I'm in the flu of ascension. So it has a lot of flu-like qualities to it. And I was trying to think, I was like, have I had this? Like, I'm like going back going, let me think about this. Now, yes, I do believe when we moved from San Francisco to Arizona, I do believe I was going through ascension symptoms because I left one state of programming in a very, very dystopian, it's San Francisco to me has turned very dystopian experience in a place where my consciousness was not aligned with the consciousness of the city. It wasn't aligned with the consciousness of the government anymore. And my body, I was like, the dissonance was too much for me. So we left. We came here to Arizona, very different consciousness, very open land. I could see trees. I could feel nature. I could feel my body. I could finally not be bombarded with a lot of different energies out in the desert. And what happened was I was exhausted. I mean, like, we're talking bone tired, soul tired for about 3 or 4 months. And that's the clearing ascension process where I was clearing out the programming from San Francisco, my past, and anything else that I was working on shedding. I was doing the work to clear and not actively doing the work, seeking out support, seeking out help, working on it, meditating, being in community, and my body was releasing all of it. So it caused extreme fatigue, extreme fatigue. So it's like that was a process of ascension. Now, here is where we can this is where you've got to be really careful, and we got to be really not go into victim states. And how can you tell if you're actually sick, right? Like, okay, humans get sick, or you're caught in some sort of anxiety or depression where it's more of a psychological imbalance and not a ascension symptom imbalance. Because this is where, for me, we get to be really careful, because you don't want to be a victim and not acknowledge something, especially if there is an imbalance, and blow it off as just an ascension symptom. It's like, and even if it is, whether you call it an ascension symptom or you're having some sort of body breakdown or a psychological imbalance, does it really matter? In a way, it matters on how you address it. by not ignoring it, but not pretending it's not there, by not talking about it, and or giving it up to ego, meaning, well, I'm just having my ego. This is because I'm so spiritual and I'm ascending so high that I don't need the help, and I'm just going to ride this wave. So the ego is also a part of this. So when people start talking about the ascension symptoms, we got to be very, very careful on not letting your ego override when you actually do get the support and need the help. Because we're not going to be able to just ride on the wave and the portals and the timelines that are opening up for us. They are there and they're available. And I guarantee you, I mean, I can't guarantee, but it does, my heart of hearts, as hard as it feels right now for some people, and as hard, as intense as it is, there is this opportunity and it will get better in a way we've never seen before. But we have to do the inner work. You cannot depend on your guides. They're there to support you. God's there to support you. Christ's consciousness is becoming more available now than ever before. More and more people are talking about Christ's consciousness, the energy of the Christ, of the Christ. All of this is so available right now. But if we sit back and don't do the inner work, it's going to pass us right on by. Or we'll get stuck in the symptoms, so to speak, and then not move forward. This is an opportunity for human beings to actually move out of the matrix control system. It actually is. But we're not going to do it unless we put the work in. I think a hummingbird just went by the window. It's the second time that's happened in like 2 days. And I never see hummingbirds in the desert. But it's not going to happen unless we do the work, unless we do the inner work. Okay, so this is what I'm going to leave you with. Yes, ascension symptoms are real, but your ego is real too. Your ego is real too. So if you don't feel well, could it be ascension symptoms? Absolutely. No matter what it is, if you don't feel well, your body's out of balance and something needs to be cleared. Something needs to be cleared, either out of your body, either out of your emotional body, your spiritual body, your mental body. Something needs to be cleared. So letting go of whether it's ascension or not, and just know it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to clear and build more personal power, you to clear and be in deeper relationship with the divine. You hear a lot of people talk about that we are at the crux, and we are. We are. It's real. And just asking yourself, are you ready to do the work and start putting in the work to release the programming? Because it's available for us in a way it never has been. And every time you clear out the programming of anxiety, the programming of depression, the programming of poverty consciousness, the programming of low self-esteem, and then go back into your soul, light it up. It's like it's like a little ladder. It's like, and that's the ascension. We ascend in here. We ascend in here first. We ascend with our relationship to God and the divine. Then, but there's these portals available for us as well, but we're not going to be able to ride the portals, ride the timelines, and ride the grid lines until we do the inner work. So yes, they are real, but we also have deep, deep work to do. All right, my name is Beth Osmer. And if you are going through something, you feel more just like so tired for no reason, or some people have gotten COVID and they have that COVID long haul, they have no energy, COVID long haul, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. I could do a whole video on the energy of COVID. And maybe I'll do that because I'll do a whole other video on COVID and the energy of COVID and how to work with it in your body. If you've gotten COVID, it's like Patty just said, it's very real. It's very real, and COVID is not, there is something not right about it. There's something intelligent about it, but we are way more intelligent. So if you're having any fatigue or long COVID symptoms, there is a way to work with that. And it's an opportunity for you to gain even more power, more energy. So if you're going through this, reach out to someone who can support you in clearing. To come support you in, because it's like a bottleneck to hold you back, but no. So if you're going through something, no is like, we're not going to be a victim to that. No, we're not. So if you're going through something like that, reach out for support, reach out for help, start talking about it, doing meditations, getting outside, being in nature, sitting on the ground, sitting on the earth, taking action. 2023 is a time for action. All right. My name is Beth Osmer, and thank you so much. Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah, Patty said, are you ready? Hey, Alice. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I will be back here next Tuesday at 8:30 Pacific to talk about the next topic. I actually think we'll do a video on the COVID energy. I'll have to keep calling it something else because I don't want to be flagged. All right. Have a great day.